Pharmally Pharmaceutical Corporation is now facing a tax evasion allegation after senators raised a series of potential tax liabilities found in the company's tax records and financial statements. An analysis of the firm's tax records reveals questionable findings that included some 3.4 billion pesos in unsupported purchases. The amount makes up nearly half of the 7.2 billion purchases Pharmally declared in its audited financial statement. But the amount is absent in the income tax returns it filed with the Bureau of Internal Revenue. Senators on Thursday, November 4, say the large amount raises more questions on the nature of the company's transactions. Tax expert Mon Abrea says discrepancies in Pharmally purchases can mean the firm overstated its expenses to lower the amount of taxes it owed the government. Pharmally has so far managed to secure over 10 billion pesos in pandemic deals, 8 billion pesos of which were awarded in 2020. Meantime, senators cite in contempt Lloyd Christopher Lau for not attending the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee hearings. Lau led the Budget Department's procurement service when it awarded the questionable contracts. He is not being covered by President Rodrigo Duterte's order barring cabinet members to attend Senate inquiries. Presidential aspirant Senator Ping Lacson on Thursday, November 4, says he will support the return of the Philippines to the International Criminal Court or ICC if he wins in the 2022 elections.
Yes, we should go back to the Rome Statutes. But again, kailangang alamin natin kasi kulang pa tayo sa datos. Ano ba yung, kasi after all, ang foreign policy natin dapat naka-anchor lagi sa national interest. Ano ba yung mapapangalagaan natin ng national interest kung babalik tayo sa Rome Statute? At ano yung mga disadvantages?
Lacson does not specify what these conditions are, but he says he will first want to consult with diplomacy experts before making a move. The Philippines withdrew from the ICC in March 2019 after President Rodrigo Duterte declared the country's membership invalid. Meantime, in the same press conference, Lacson and his running mate Tito Soto say they are now against death penalty.
Mas matimbang yung masave yung buhay ng hindi pala, nung yung wrongly convicted. So, nagbago yung aking pananaw, kaya we-withdraw ko yung aking final na bill kung naandyan pa yan.
Lacson filed a death penalty bill in 2019, while Soto filed his own in 2014. They say they want an Alcatraz-type penitentiary in the Philippines instead. This penitentiary system will put convicts who committed heinous crimes to be imprisoned on an island and made to suffer for life.
Need more context, clarity, and perspective? Get the full picture with Rappler Plus. With exclusive content and events, you'll get an opportunity to discuss issues with reporters, experts, and featured guests while helping Rappler continue its fearless journalism. Join now.
PDP-Laban standard-bearer Senator Bato Dela Rosa wants a continuation of a Duterte-style leadership, even as he himself is pushing for the candidacy of someone else. Dela Rosa on Wednesday, November 3, says 6 years of the Duterte administration is not enough to change the country. Dela Rosa is the presidential candidate of the PDP-Laban Kusi wing.
The 6 years of Duterte administration, whether or not it's Inday Sara or whether or not it's Bato, basta at yun, doon sa Duterte style of leadership, yung kamay na bakal na pamamalakad at yung no-nonsense approach sa ating panggobyerno at hindi natatakot sa mga oligarch.
Dela Rosa and other Duterte allies have been trying to convince Sara Duterte to run for president even after she filed her candidacy for a third term as Davao City Mayor. Candidates may be substituted via withdrawal until November 15. Meantime, Dela Rosa also says he is ready to face an international criminal court probe into President Rodrigo Duterte's drug war.
ready ako anytime humarap sa kanila.
He led Duterte's war on drugs from 2016 to 2018. Indonesia reverses its zero deforestation pledge at the United Nations Climate Conference. In a tweet, Indonesia's Environment Minister Siti Nurbaya Bakar says the global plan to end deforestation by 2030 is inappropriate and unfair. Bakar says Indonesia's development plans and the global goals should be fine-tuned. Indonesia, Brazil, and the Democratic Republic of Congo collectively account for 85% of the world's forests. Indonesia is the world's biggest exporter of palm oil. In 2019 alone, a forest area half the size of Belgium was burned to make way for plantations in Indonesia. Meanwhile, government representatives at COP26 in Glasgow pledged to curb production and use of oil, gas, and coal. The pledges aim to speed up the transition to cleaner forms of energy. Scientists and world leaders at the COP26 summit in Glasgow, Scotland say the shift is urgent as this will slash greenhouse gas emissions and avoid the worst impacts of climate change. But the pledges also highlight lingering divisions between healthy nations pushing for the shift and poorer developing countries that rely on coal and other fossil fuels to grow their economies. Coal fires around 37% of the world's electricity. The Philippines is bound to lose another sporting gem as golfer Yuka Saso decides to become a Japanese citizen. Under Japanese law, dual citizens like the 20-year-old Saso have to select their nationality at the age of 22. But Saso says, "No matter which one I choose, I am both Japanese and Filipino." Saso's mother is Filipino and her father Japanese. The talented Saso rose to popularity when she won gold medals in the 2018 Asian Games in Indonesia. After turning pro in 2019, Saso climbed through the ranks, capturing 2 LPGA of Japan Tour titles and becoming the first Filipina to rule the US Women's Open earlier this year. Saso then represented the country as the youngest delegate in the Tokyo Olympics, where she finished 9th. Still improving, Saso is currently ranked 6th in the world and youngest player in the top 10.